What's up, guys? It's Mikey with Man Meat Barbecue. Today is Memorial Day. We want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day and remember all of those who have fallen. And keep your grills hot today. You know, cook something good for them. So with this day, we decided to chat with Ben from Grill Hop Anonymous. And here is our chat. So enjoy it. Enjoy your Memorial Day. And hopefully we didn't take too much of your time out of your day. What's up, guys? So we are sitting here with Ben from Grill Hop Anonymous. So it's Grill Hop or at Grill Hop Anonymous on Instagram. He is a awesome Weber guy. So, like I said, this podcast is not just about your big green egg people. It's not about anything like that. We're just talking to people who cook. Now, you have quite a huge array of cookers.
Yeah, you know, it's something that, I enjoy, but it's starting to take over my backyard, so my wife might not enjoy it as much as I do, but she doesn't complain after I cook on it, so.
Cooking food for people really makes them change the way they look at what you want. It's like, oh, well, I don't want that there. Oh, but the food is delicious that's coming off of it, so, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's like, that's really taking up the backyard, but after dinner, okay, it can last another day, I guess.
It can last another day till you cook on it.
Yep, and then we're back at it. So.
Now, okay, you got 2 WSMs, you got a 26-inch kettle, and then you got 1, 2, 3. Technically, you got 4 22-inch kettles.
Yes.
Where's the little Smoky Joe?
You know what? That's one thing I haven't done. You point out all my flaws, right? Yeah. So it's one of those things that I've been eyeing the Smoky Joes over the years, and but I haven't pulled the trigger on it, and I need to add it to the collection for sure.
Just a little add it to the family.
Yeah. Family portrait's always nice. Sometimes you get too many of them in there; it's hard to fit in the picture, but we do our best.
Now, do you have a favorite cooker?
I would have to say, out of the Weber line, if it's going to be a grill, the 26 is by far probably my favorite. It's versatile. You can do longer cooks on it. You can do pork shoulders. You can do any kind of roast. But then you can still get that nice sear on it too as well if you're grilling something. So the 26 for me is the right size for the kettle.
The right size for the kettle?
Yeah.
See, I hear a lot of arguments that the 22 is the perfect size.
Yeah, see, the 22, it all depends on how many people you're cooking for.
Absolutely. That's totally agreed. I just think that the 22, the 26 is a monster.
It is a beast. When I took it out of the box, I was like, wow, I wasn't ready for that. But once you get it up and you get cooking on it, you can appreciate the versatility of it.
The versatility of how awesome it is?
Yeah.
And now,
I think the only, not to knock Weber, but I think the only drawback on it is the stability of it. I think they use the same stand, the same legs as the 22.
Yeah.
And so it's a little wobbly. So if you're, trying to get the ash out of the kettle, you can definitely get some wobbliness to it. So that's just
because it's so big.
It's so heavy. I mean, and they use thicker materials for the grates, and it's more heavy duty. So all that weight's gonna put more stress on those legs.
Now you got the 22-inch Smoky Mountains.
Yes.
What made you go to the 22-inch over the slimmer 18-inch or the very slim? I believe it's a 14-inch that they create. I could be wrong. Sorry. I know I love the Webers, but I can't remember the smallest Smoky Mountain.
No, you're right on there. So basically, I went with the 22. When I first bought my Weber Smoky Mountain, they only had the 22 and the 18. And for me, I thought the extra size was a gimme. Like just go big or go home.
Yeah, that's super important. Yeah.
So they always say buy it and cry once. And so I did that with the 22, and I'm glad I did because I can definitely put more meat on. I can do about 60 pounds of meat on one smoker, and I won't be able to do that with the 18. So
no, probably not.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I went with the 22, and I was actually, for the second one, I was in a pinch and I was doing 100 pounds of pork shoulder, for an event, and I needed to get one pretty quick. So luckily we had a local store that had it, so I just snatched it up. Yeah. So yeah, I like the 22-inch. I think it's the right size, and it's not too big to where you feel like you're losing a bunch of charcoal and it's not efficient. And you can do all kinds of cooks on it.
So you'd recommend it, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, if you had to say your perfect cooker, do you like the vertical cooker? Would you rather have maybe gone to like an Oklahoma Joe style cooker where it's a side firebox, stuff like that, like a stick burner?
Yeah, stick burner. I'm glad I started out on a vertical cooker. I think with Weber they make it nice to where it's efficient. You don't have to babysit it a ton for what you pay for it. So if you're a beginner, it's a good cooker to buy because when you're looking at temperature and keeping that steady temp at 250, 225, whatever you're trying to do, it's efficient enough to where you can do that. I'm intrigued by the offset smokers, stick burners. Reading a lot about Franklin Barbecue and what he does. I mean,
absolutely,
it's a boy can dream, right? So,
absolutely.
So that's one of those things that at some point, an offset is something that I want to check into.
Just buy a huge propane tank, like he did, because that's basically what they are. They're just huge propane tanks.
The sad thing is, I'm driving down the highway and I look to we have cornfields in Indiana. And, I look to the side and I see these gigantic, propane tanks. And I don't see propane tanks. I see smokers.
You just see smokers? You're like, that could be a perfect smoker.
Yeah, that would be...
And it would be beautiful.
That would be a gigantic smoker. I could do several briskets in that. Yeah. So...
Well, I mean, if you've seen Franklin's, I mean, his is... I mean, I think it has like 3 doors on it. 3 lift doors. So he's doing tons of brisket on there. And obviously doing tons of meat. Now... I have talked to a couple different people, and they say that they can get about 4 briskets, 3 to 4 briskets on the WSM. If laid correctly,
it's possible. I would think you probably could. Now, one thing I haven't done is a ton of brisket.
Yeah, well, we're in the north, so for all you people that are going to hate on us, brisket isn't the easiest stuff to come by, and it's not the full brisket, I should say, where it's where it has the point and it has the flat put together.
Yeah.
Most people just like that flat because they're already cutting it up, and they're most of them are putting it into a slow cooker or something like that, and they don't need the point.
No, and that's one thing here. If I go to my local meat departments, not just the grocery stores, but the actual butcher shops or whatever. I mean, they don't have a good selection, or if they have any. So brisket is something that when I'm doing slow cooks, I mean pork shoulders, Boston butts, things of that nature, ribs. Generally, what I do on there.
Now
turkeys.
Ribs. Here's the question: are we spare, or are we baby back?
Baby back.
Why?
I'm just used to it. I've never actually gone and tried the spare. It's one of those things. Growing up, you always heard the Chili's Baby Back Ribs song, the commercial.
Yes, this is true. I don't know if they had that in this. Did they have that? Was that a nationwide campaign?
I don't know if it was or not.
I think it might have been, because if any of our fans out there listen to watched Scrubs, I believe they did the baby back ribs, and they crushed it where they wouldn't say ribs, they just kept doing just the baby back. And one of the guys was going crazy, and he's like, when do they say ribs?
Yeah.
And they're like, never. They never say ribs.
That's
just
hilarious.
to drive him crazy.
Yeah. No, that's good. So I think, baby back ribs is just something growing up that I'd hear about. And I'm from a small town, Ohio. We didn't have meat departments. We had one grocery store, and it was the IGA, and, so we didn't have a lot of different things to choose from. But, I don't do a ton of ribs, but when I do it, I generally go baby back.
You generally go baby back. So now, okay, walk me through a baby back cook.
Okay.
So you're take the silver skin off.
Yes, hate the silver skin, but you got to get rid of that.
Take that off. Now, what kind of rub you throwing on it? Are we making our own, or are we using commercial?
Both. It just depends on
craft,
how much.
I'm going to call it craft commercial. For all you people out there who maybe use, I feel like Meat Church, Dizzy Pig. We got all these craft commercial places, Caribbean, all those things are craft commercial rubs. That's what I feel is almost like craft beers.
Yeah.
Where there's these craft rubs popping up.
Yeah, they're doing it right. That's not full commercialized, and they got a smaller size so they can make sure that the quality's there. I think the last, to give you an idea, the last ribs I did, I used Meat Church Honey Hog.
The honey hog gives a beautiful color.
Beautiful color on the ribs. But I've done some stuff from Weber. And again, when I started grilling, I would just buy the Weber rubs. I had the grill. Why not get the rubs? Try them out.
It's not his fault. He was naive. He just wasn't sure what it was yet.
Yeah.
No, I'm the complete.
Yeah.
I actually used to love the. Have you ever had the Chicago steak rub?
Yeah, I have some in there.
I have some from a long time ago in my cupboard too. That I love. Looking at different steak rubs, and I was like, holy cow. And I just like salt and pepper too.
I was going to say anymore now that I've kind of matured a little bit in my cooking stages. If I'm doing a steak, salt and pepper is, for me is kind of the right spot.
The way to go.
Yeah. Meat Church Holy Cow is a great rub. If you're looking beef rub, it's solid. It's probably one of my favorite rubs that they have, actually.
Yeah.
But salt and pepper, steak, yeah.
Salt and pepper is you don't need anymore.
No, you want to taste the meat. I don't do A1. I don't do any of that stuff. You just let's taste the meat. So
I was at a very, very nice steakhouse in Chicago with the company that I work for, and a couple of us had a couple of drinks. We were feeling good that day.
Sure.
And one of us had a little bit too much to drink. And he ordered the chef's special steak. Just perfectly prepared. Nice medium. I think he almost did medium rare. And took one bite into it and goes, "Where's the A1 sauce? This stuff sucks." And
man.
All of us were like, "Shut up."
Yeah, that is terrible.
It's a $90 steak. You sit down and you shut up.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not
That's
a bad, it is nowhere near a bad cut of steak,
Yeah.
It was dry aged for 30 days.
Right. The premier pieces of meat, and he wants some ketchup.
And he wants some ketchup. Look, where's the ketchup? I want to put that on it.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, give me some ketchup for the steak. Yeah.
Now this podcast is actually pretty cool because we are both cooking. I'm cooking on my Mini Max. It made the trip with me all the way out to South Bend, and we're cooking on almost every single one of Ben's Webers. And now, obviously, I came from Weber. I started with Weber. I love Weber. I almost bought the Smoky Mountains. Now, seeing them, I'm kind of happy that I thought about buying them. Obviously, we talked about all the things that go with them, and you said that new little plug that they put into it was super cool.
Yeah, it's like a grommet that they kind of have on the side there that you can put your temperature gauge, your probes in there, so you don't have it hanging out the lid, so you can get a nice good seal on the lid. So it's a good advancement that they did. So
now, have you ever thought about adding gaskets to it? I know that they sell a couple gasket kits, and they also sell a couple of the lid. The hinges and all that. Have you ever thought about adding any of that stuff?
Kind of like pimp my smoker out, right? Pimp my ride?
Yes, Exhibit shows up to your house. He knocks on your door, and he's like, "I hear you like to smoke stuff, so I put a smoker inside your smoker."
That would be, you know what? That would be cool to meet Exhibit. Him and his silly grin. But basically, I haven't thought it. I've seen it. Where you can put handles on the side to kind of carry.
Oh, I haven't seen the handles. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The handles are cool. The thing about it is, now, this doesn't weigh anywhere close to a Big Green Egg, but because I felt how heavy your Mini Max
He felt
is.
the Mini Max. He felt the weight of the Mini Max.
Yeah, so a little bit of size difference compared to this, but when you have, let's say if I'm running out of heat and it's at the bottom, and I don't want to keep throwing charcoal through the actual
Great.
The opening there. I want to lift that smoker up so I keep the dome on to keep the heat in. It is way too heavy. I mean, you got tons of meat on there.
You got depending on what you got
water,
in there,
whatever it is, you just can't do it. So some people actually have put handles on the side. I'm not a fabricator. I'm not an engineer. So when it comes to Mr. Fix-It or doing something like that,
it's just not you, huh?
No. Would I like to have it? Sure,
but you just don't want to do it.
Yeah. So this is
perfect.
Is good. Yeah.
Now, what's the longest smoke you can do on one of those without adding fuel?
Wow.
If you had to say, like, okay, I want to keep it low and slow, I want to go 225, 250, I'm going to do a brisket, and it's going to take 15 hours. Are you going to have to add fuel on that one?
I would probably add fuel at the end. And it all depends on how much you have on the cooker.
Of course.
If I'm doing one pork shoulder, I'm not going to eat up as much charcoal as I would if I had 3 or 4 of them on there.
Yep.
So to kind of give you an idea, I did an 18-hour cook about a month and a half ago, and I added fuel twice.
Okay.
But I had 50 pounds of meat in each smoker.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
you had a lot of meat.
I had a lot of meat on it, and when you look at the temperature, is it windy? Is it? All those things come into play. So, if you had a perfect day, I mean, you could probably go 14 hours without having to add anything. If you're going 225, on one of these.
14 hours, nice.
Nice, easy 225. Before you would ever have to think about adding any extra heat to it.
And that's using Kingsford regular blue bag charcoal, right?
That's right, yeah. The Minion method with the Kingsford, just regular. I'm not doing the competition that they have and all those different things.
I don't buy into it. I don't think that their competition charcoal is that much better.
I think the only thing that, I haven't tried it, but I heard it had a little bit less ash. I think that's just the one thing that the Kingsford for me is just, it's very, I go through a lot of coal, so the ash is just absurd at the bottom of these smokers at the end of the day.
Now, have you thought about maybe just switching to like a Royal Oak or like a Cowboy brand lump charcoal?
Yeah, so I've heard good things about Royal Oak, but we actually don't have any place around here that sells it.
Really?
So I'd have to probably get online and order it. I've seen the briquettes.
Okay, but
not lump.
No lump.
Yeah, so that'd be a little different. So I'd probably have to order that online.
So there's nowhere around you that carries lump?
Western. Well, is it the Cowboy?
Yeah, Cowboy brand.
We do have a couple grocery stores that does carry that. I would do lump on some steak, get a nice high heat.
Yeah. For
a sear and stuff like that. But as far as a low and slow cook, I haven't done lump with that.
You should try it.
I should.
The nice thing is the ash. There's not as much ash. It burns a little bit cleaner.
Okay.
In the ash method, there's not as much of a cleanup.
Yeah. Well, those are two important things because if you get bogged down on one of these and you're adding fuel and adding fuel and adding fuel,
eventually those air holes are.
You're gonna have ash coming out of it. It's just not a good thing. So that's really cool. I have to check it out.
We'll have to figure out a way to get you some lump charcoal.
Yeah. We'll do another cook and we'll test it out.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You're not that far away from me.
No.
We drove. He's South Bend to Chicago. I mean, it's not a crazy amount. It was about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Give or take, especially traffic,
Give or take, especially for traffic. It was. I think we didn't really hit any traffic at all. The biggest thing that we hit was the time gap. There's a time change.
Yes. You
guys are an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for the time change. So
that's the only thing that we hit. Otherwise, I would have been here at 11.
Right. Yeah. What took you so long?
I lost an hour somewhere. The clock went from 10:30 to 11:30. I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, it's the time.
It's that time warp.
Yeah, that's what they've been talking about on Rocky Horror Picture Show all the time.
Now, we were talking a little bit about you. You were thinking about doing some catering.
Yeah.
If you were to say your perfect catering gig, money is no option.
Okay.
for these people. They want the best thing. What would you serve?
Wow. If it didn't matter, cost
and time. I mean, you have as much time to prep. You have the time to cook. You have everything.
Wow.
That never happens.
Yeah, that's a fantasy world. And I'm a realist. I usually don't live in the fantasy world. But I've been kind of doing some experimenting on some sandwiches. I thought about catering. I thought about maybe like a food truck kind of thing, and I think a nice toasted sandwich, whether it be a tri-tip sandwich or
like a Cuban almost.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the Chef,
I've seen Chef. If you haven't seen Chef, guys, you got to go check out Chef. That's such a great movie. It's on Netflix. So if you people don't want to go buy a movie, which I know I don't even own a DVD player anymore, which is sad to say, but if you poor bastards don't understand Netflix, it's $7.99 a month. Yeah. Go get it.
And you just stream it. It's nice. It's there when you want it. But you guys, you need to check that out. But I mean, it's kind of like one of the things. I watched that movie and I'm like, we'll watch it tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be like, hey, Jamie, do you want to watch The Chef tonight? You know what I mean?
I could watch that movie over and over and over just because I do love food so much.
Yeah.
And I think I love the preparation of food and what the art that goes into it. I feel like the culinary. I mean, it's the culinary arts. It really is. It really is an art. Now, have you seen Chef's Table on Netflix?
I haven't. I need to check that out.
Check that one out. That one's new. It's a Netflix series.
Ooh.
So what they did is they kind of followed a couple chefs through their goals. So what was, how they changed their stuff and how they changed their culinary experiences. And I believe it's the second one that they talked to. No, maybe it's the first one. It's Massimo's. He's a chef in Italy, and he's changing the way Italians look at Italian food. And that's basically like taking a stab, like stabbing them in the heart and being like, listen, your food is wrong. Like, look at this. Look at what I did with this food. That's different than what you did. That's different than what Grandma's been cooking.
Right. It's probably completely different than where we look at.
Exactly. And the hard thing is when you look at it that way, they've been like, no, Grandma made the dish perfectly. Leave the dish alone.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's. I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that, but
that's a super cool one. If you're a foodie,
it's
not obviously it's not all about barbecue. Either is Chef, but it's just the cool things, or it shows the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. It's a super cool environment.
That's awesome. But for the perfect cook, like I said, I would think like a nice thin tri-tip, sandwich. Maybe throw some avocado, corned bean salsa on top of it to give it some lime juice. Just give a nice little flair to it. I mean, for me, I'm kind of less is more. So just something simple, that would be perfect for me. I think you'd sell a lot of it too.
But you're thinking outside the barbecue culinary box, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
I kind of find I'm slightly bored with. Obviously, I love let's do the pulled pork. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? The
basics.
Basics.
Those are the staples.
The staples are awesome to cook.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, I'm cooking pork tenderloin. We're cooking wings. We're doing some tri-tip. We're doing some shoulders.
Yeah. Pepper
stout beef, which is a new one for me. I'm stoked about it. What else do we got cooking?
We got galbi, which is a Korean it's a Korean short rib, which is a phenomenal tasting meat.
We're doing that, which sounds awesome. So I'm super stoked about it. People are bringing sides. It's just a great day of smoking. Obviously, it's Memorial Day. This will be coming out on Memorial Day, guys. So enjoy it. This is a cool special that we're doing. So,
since this is coming out on Memorial Day, just, as we go through this and, Memorial Day, we have cookouts, we have fun and stuff, but let's not forget why we have Memorial Day too.
Absolutely.
Guys, so Yeah, definitely. Thanks to all that made this possible.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone that we've lost through it. Everyone that's given their lives for that. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, what do you think about catering? What are you thinking? Are you thinking it's eventually going to be that step that you're going to have to make in your life?
I think so. I actually have some people that are already asking me, "Hey, you got a menu? Do you got a menu?" And right now, for me, I'm a backyard griller, so I'm all about, hey, friends, family over, cook them something. If I get an idea, I bring them over and say, "Try this out. Tell me what you think."
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Barbecue for me, like grilling, cooking, backyard, whatever it is. Food just brings people together, and it's all about the love. So that's what I like. It gets people talking. They sit around the table, or, it's just a conversation. And everybody loves food. It doesn't matter who you are. It just brings people together, and that's what's so great about it. So if I could do that on a different level and make maybe a living out of it, and do something that I love.
Now, would you ever do, instead of doing catering, would you ever do something like Franklin's? Would you ever open up a barbecue restaurant?
Yeah, I think so. If you had the means and all that stuff, absolutely. I mean, if the product is good, that's the thing. I mean, you can, everybody, I don't want to say everybody, but, we just talked about the staples. We have pulled pork. Okay. Well, I'm sure if you go to a Big Green Egg event, or if you go to somewhere else, I mean,
everyone's cooking some pulled pork.
Yeah. So it's, when I look at it, somebody's going to eat this because they're in my backyard because it's free.
It's free.
They didn't pay for it. They're like, hey, I'll come have a drink and eat some food, and have a good day. See you later. The question is it good enough for you to pay for it? Would you pay for this? And that's where I'm at this point, in trying to perfect it, having the time to perfect it to where it's like, yeah, I feel confident to sell this, or that somebody would buy this. Somebody would seek me out to buy this.
If you hear dogs barking in the background, that's because there's dogs in the background, just so you know.
Yeah.
It does not bother me whatsoever. But, so I've had a couple friends tell me that they think I need to do either a food truck or something like that, or start catering. They've told me that my barbecue tastes a little bit better than the barbecue they're getting.
Yeah. Okay.
At places. Now, what's your favorite barbecue place in South Bend? Is there one? Is it Ben's Backyard? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we have a couple, and it's not something that is really big here. There's a place called Frankie's that everybody, the old South Benders, swear by, and there's one on the west side of town, which is the original one which I have not been to, but they say that's the best one. And then there's one in Mishawaka, which is a adjoining town that's connected to South Bend. I've had one at the one in Mishawaka, and I left still hungry because I didn't eat much. So to kind of give you an idea, there's really not. There is a need for it here in South Bend.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think people would enjoy it. You got, we have Notre Dame here.
You got Notre Dame, yeah.
If you're doing catering, now that's one thing we have. We have Nelson's Golden Globe Chicken, which what they do is they park on gas station corners, and they do.
So they are a food truck.
It's more of a fundraiser.
Okay.
So if you have a group, you're like, yeah, we're going to sell Nelson's half chicken. People know what that is. They're like, yeah, I'm going to come buy. Here's $5 ticket or $7 ticket. And they come get
a half chicken.
Yeah, but and that's good. But really, if you wanted to go, just get some really good barbecue in South Bend.
You got nothing.
Nothing. So that's
not a good thing to hear.
It's not a good thing at all. That's why I'm in my backyard. If you follow my Instagram, I'm in my backyard almost every night trying to grill up something or
trying to perfect. Speaking of Instagram, guys, if you guys don't follow his Instagram, we did tag a photo with him a couple days ago, and this will obviously have a tag on it. It is Grill Hop Anonymous. On Instagram, there are some underscores somewhere in that name. Just play around with it; you'll eventually find them. Obviously, the hop comes from beer.
Yes.
You're a craft beer man.
Yes.
What's a favorite craft beer for you?
Wow, that's a good question. I would say, anything. We have 3 Floyds here. Zombie Dust is good.
Zombie Dust is awesome. For all you people who have never had Zombie Dust, I'm sorry. Yeah. It is awesome.
But there's and that's the thing. When you say what's your favorite, there's just so many out there that I might have a top 10. You know what I mean? It's kind of we kind of talked about music.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at, I got so many different bands that I like.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
hard to name that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
now, have you ever thought about doing, this is becoming pretty big, is doing barbecue and beer pairings?
Yes.
And doing those kind of events maybe for yourself.
Yes. In fact, one thing around this area, we're having some different breweries pop up. And that's one of the things that every time one pops up, I'm always going and I'm asking them, I'm checking, are you serving food? Because I would love to partner with them to kind of say...
To pair up with them and say, hey, I'm gonna cook this for you. We're going to do like a, braised pork shoulder with your beer.
Exactly.
Blah, 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 blah. We're going to, do this and this and this.
Yeah. And I think people would really dig that. You look at it and, people pair different foods with wine and like, oh, I want this with that. And,
absolutely.
You can do the same with craft beer too. I actually did on my website, we did a pairing on, it was wings and what style of beer to drink with wings.
Now, what's the website so people can go check it out?
It's grillhopanonymous.com. So,
perfect. It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Somewhere,
I
think.
So, yeah, and it's basically breaking it down. Okay, if we're going to have some chicken wings, do I want an IPA? Do I want a lager? Do I want a stout? What style is not necessarily the correct style or the only right style to drink it, but
what pairs nicely with that?
Yeah,
that IPA,
absolutely. So
or that chicken wing.
Yep. So we did it with Yingling, and we did a Brooklyn Lager. So we actually did. We thought the Yingling paired better with the wings, but the Brooklyn Lager was a more well balanced beer. So if I was just drinking the beer, the Brooklyn Lager to me won.
Went forward, but
if I'm eating these wings.
It paired with the palate nicely.
Yeah, it was great. So just because it's the better tasting beer doesn't mean it's always the right thing to drink with that certain type of food.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And, I mean, there are so many different crafts, so many different beers out there. New craft breweries pop up every day.
Yeah, and you got the after dinner drinks. You have these sours that these breweries are doing.
Yep.
And it's really cool. So, we need to have craft food places that that's shelling out really good food too. So
and there's not too many.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's a need for that. So
there's not too many craft. I mean, they focus on the beer, and that's what they focus on.
Yeah, that's what they're good at. And so I think especially we're near Lake Michigan.
You are, yes.
We're 40 minutes away. You get a nice brewery with some kick-ass barbecue food, you're golden
you're doing pretty good.
Right by the lake, yeah.
I think I can, in retrospect, I could probably throw a rock to Lake Michigan from my apartment. I'm about 3 blocks away.
That's awesome.
So, we live pretty close to the lake. But, being in South Bend, you got Three Floyds, which is
not far.
Literally, what? An hour away
from you? Not even? We have Greenbush, which is 40 minutes away.
Okay, you got 18th Street.
18th Street. We got Burnham Brewery, and Burnham Brewery is somebody that that's a group that's doing it right. They're in Michigan City right now, and they actually just opened a to-go shop. But
awesome.
They're killing it. So that's another place. But we think of, I need to go get that West Coast IPA. I need to get that East Coast IPA, or go up to Vermont and get this and that. I mean, hey, they all have great beers, but there's great beer in the Midwest.
There is,
and fantastic beers in the Midwest. So
there's some great, I mean, Three Floyds making some killer brews.
Yeah.
Half Acre up in Chicago, they're making some killer brews. Revolution. Have you had any Revolution beer?
I haven't.
We should have brought them some Revolution.
Yeah.
Revolution has some cool beer. There is a barbecue restaurant that I will tell you to check out. It is in Munster.
Okay.
It is called Bombers.
All right.
But you gotta get there early, man.
Yeah.
You gotta.
So we're talking like a long line, or what?
We're talking like once they're done, they're done.
Okay. They sell out.
They sell out, and it's good.
That's an important thing. you want a place to sell out.
They serve black gold, man.
Yeah.
They serve those beautiful, beautiful burnt ends.
That's amazing. You don't want to go to a barbecue restaurant that always still has food, That is one thing you're like, oh, exactly. Yeah, so...
When'd you take it off the smoker? 9 a.m.? It's 9 p.m.
Exactly.
So it's been resting for 12 hours?
Hey, that tinfoil with the blanket in the cooler does wonders, let me tell you.
It will hold it for a while, but I don't know if it'll hold it for 12.
Yeah, that's stretching it a bit. You got to have one of those electric blankets to keep it real warm for that.
Keep it nice and warm. Keep it at a temperature where it's legal to serve.
Get the Snuggies out. Yeah.
The Snuggies. That's the first time I've heard Snuggies in barbecue world.
Yeah. Can we edit that out? I'm sorry.
No, that was awesome because the Snuggie, that it feels like the blanket that wants to strangle you slightly, but just not enough, but just a little.
Right. When I'd see the commercials, I felt like I wanted to be strangled when I'd see the families on those commercials.
I just think it's so funny where they're like, all those like infomercials where it makes everything seem like it's the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh
like,
my God.
Do you want a blanket, but you want to read a book too? That's impossible.
Yeah, you can't do that. I think the mop ones are my favorite, where they're trying to, it's like a wet jet or something, but they're fumbling with the mop and the water
and they spill water everywhere.
And then they sigh and their hair blows from the sighing because they're so upset.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, there is a pan that's a whole nonstick pan where it's like, making eggs is such a chore. I'm like, really? Because it's not.
Yeah, that's our life, I guess. I don't know. But
now, do you cook on any cast iron?
I do.
Are you a cast iron cooker?
Yes, I love cast iron. I do some cast iron inside on the stove if I'm in the wintertime, but generally outside I love dealing with whether it's like I have probably 5 or 6 pieces that I use. One's a really deep I'm trying to like
a Dutch oven almost.
Well, I have a Dutch oven.
Okay.
And then we have another one that's you're actually it's like a pan, like a frying pan, but it's really deep.
But a little bit deeper.
Yeah, which is awesome. So if I'm doing like chili or something with a lot of liquids, it's got a deeper lid in there that
so it's not bubbling over.
Yeah, it's not going to come out. So, but I use a griddle a lot on the grill, and which is another thing too. I have a grill press. So if I'm making, we talked about sandwiches. Some craft sandwiches. So I use the grill press with that, which is cast iron. But then if you don't have a grill press, just take another cast iron pan, get it hot,
throw it on top of it.
Throw it on top of it. That'll sear it up really nice. And the weight will push it down, so it's a nice press.
And I mean, we do have these awesome, lovely things called chimneys. Yes. Which, if you're cooking straight on a pan, and you don't want to, heat up that whole cooker. I know I saw that on your page the other night. You were doing some sausages and some onion.
Yeah.
And just kept it straight in that chimney.
Yeah. If you want to use less coal and you want to do a quick meal, if you only have a little bit, then just fire up that chimney and just put it right on top there, and you're golden. It doesn't take long at all.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool thing that I saw that you did the other day. I thought that was really cool. Just because sometimes you don't want to fire up that entire cooker.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want, especially with you're still using those briquettes. You can't reuse briquettes.
No, that's not something that you want to do. So yeah, and let's say you're running out and you're like, man, I can't go to the store or whatever the case is. You only have a little bit left, but
it's 2 a.m. The store's closed.
You're craving some, barbecue. You want that taste, that backyard taste. Yeah, just fire up that whatever you have in that chimney, and if you're just doing something quick, even a steak, you could do a steak with just a little bit. I mean,
that's true. Have you ever done a caveman steak?
I have. I've seen it, but I have not done it. Have you?
I have not, but I want to.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I was like, that's amazing. But then I was like, I don't know if I really want to eat that. But then now I'm kind of intrigued.
I think you got to use lump on it.
I would never use a briquette for something like that.
I think you got to use lump. I don't think I trust eating whatever's on a briquette.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, you got to go lump all the way with that. But that's
just all natural.
Yeah, I mean that's a great term for it, caveman, because that's
caveman style.
That's it.
I'm throwing it on there and letting it go. Well, since we are having a party here, we are having some people show up, so we're going to wrap this podcast up. Ben, we want to say thank you so much for coming on here. Thanks for having us out to your lovely house and letting us cook here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was a good time.
We had a lot of fun. We are going to post pictures of our cooks on our Instagrams. That means you have to follow us. So go follow us, guys. Obviously, Ben is Grill Hop Anonymous. He posts some cool beer pictures, grilling pictures. If you're a super Weber head, you need to follow him. So, yep, that's about it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that chat with me and Ben. Don't forget, a brand new podcast comes out every Thursday. But also make sure you check out our website, manmeatbarbecue.com. We got a bunch of fun stuff on there for you. And if you want to be on the show, email us at manmeatsbarbecue@gmail.com. So it won't take too much more of your Memorial Day away from you guys and your smokers and your grills. So enjoy the day. Hopefully you're having great weather. And till next time, guys. Keep your smokers going low and slow.